Hello, Chef Fo here. Like, share, subscribe, and get into the comments. This is episode 3, Chef Fo, dirty rice, collard greens, and barbecue chicken. You see here, I had it in the crock pot early morning, softened it up. These are glory bag greens, a little rough. But seasonings, we have Creole, Tony Chachere's Poultry Magic, Chef Paul Boudin, Liquid Hickory Smoke by Stubbs, and we have a mesquite marinade mix or rub. Wash and cleaned our chicken and patted it dry with paper towels to get us started. Sorry, there's no grocery haul. I had to use Instacart to save time. A lot of times I go to the store after work, and by the time I get home, I don't feel like cooking. So we use Instacart. It's a little higher, but a useful tool. So I'm hitting it with the seasonings now. You just saw the Tony Chachere's. Now here we are with the Chef Paul Boudin's Poultry Magic. And we're gonna follow that up with our grill mates, marinade mesquite mix and rub, and our stubs. Now what I do here, I season in rounds. This was a family pack of chicken legs and it came with 14. So I'm actually working with 2 batches of 7. And here we are with a little bit of that liquid smoke. I was afraid of it. They say on the bottle a little bit goes a long way. And my bro Dread Marley, salute to Dread Marley 510. Make sure you subscribe. Also warn me against using too much of that. But we just put it in the fridge to marinate. Now we running our dishwater. Clean the dishes in the kitchen as you go. StopBeingNasty.com. Chicken broth, salt, bay leaves. Then we got some dried thyme here and some oregano. We're getting ready to do our dirty rice. So I prepared rice the day before, so you have rice there, diced onion, diced red pepper. We got minced garlic by Iberia and diced green peppers. Also, we will be using 2 pounds of 80/20 ground beef or whatever type you like, and flour. So we're gonna heat our skillet up right now, and then what we're gonna do next is we're gonna add the 2 pounds of 80/20 ground beef into the heated skillet and start breaking up our meat. Remember to use a wooden utensil, whatever you want to use, a spatula, a spoon, whatever, So here we are breaking our meat apart right here. And here we are a little further along in the process. And I like mine's broke up real fine, So we mixing that here. And here we are also, coming along. And like I said, I want to touch back on this. I'm trying to cut back on sodium, season in rounds. A little bit of seasoning, let it cook, add more later if need be. So I did drain a little bit of that excess oil off before adding our spices. So here you have the green pepper, and I come back over the top with some diced onion. All uniform cut pieces so they cook at the same time. And here we are with some red pepper. So once you do that, you want to mix that and stir that in well and get it all well incorporated into the dish, our meat mixture right here. Some nice colors jumping off in the pot. Once again, this is Chef Fo, episode 3, dirty rice, collard greens, and barbecue chicken legs. So we add our thyme over the top of there just a little bit for now. Then we come back with our oregano leaves, And once you let it cook, once again, check it, see if it's seasoned to your liking. If not, add a little bit more. And then here we are with some table salt, just a little bit of table salt, probably about half a teaspoon to start. I know how to eyeball it. That may be about a third of a teaspoon. Ground black pepper, hit it with that next, and then we got our chili powder. Just a little bit of chili powder in there. This is the portion of it that's going to give it some kick, and a little bit of cayenne pepper. Some people like a lot of cayenne in their dirty rice, so I just use a little bit. I just want a slight hint of kick, a slight kick into it. And we mixed that together and started to incorporate that. Meanwhile, those peppers and onions are sauteing in that oil and juices from the beef. And you want to do this over medium low heat, not too high on the flame. So after we do this, we add in our minced garlic. That's about a tablespoon of minced garlic. You know, fresh is always best, but in interest of saving time, you know, we use the minced version in water. After that, incorporating that, I added the flour. You want to sprinkle the flour evenly over the meat. As you see, I'll miss a spot because of the spoon. And we're working with one hand, so I incorporated that, and then I had to add a little bit more flour to it, as you'll see coming up soon. But you want to get that stirred in very well. You don't want any lumps or anything of that nature. Just stir it in very well. Make sure it's well incorporated into our meat mixture. So as you can see there, we're coming along, and we hit that with a little bit more flour, you know, just for good measure. Like I said, I made it so many times, I know how to eyeball it. A lot of times, traditionally in New Orleans, people make this with chicken livers and gizzards. I am not a fan of liver, so I usually use ground beef and ground sausage, but they didn't have the brand of ground sausage that I wanted, so we're using 2 pounds of ground beef. Usually 1 pound of each is perfect. So here we are adding some unsalted chicken broth. Again, opting to use less salt in this dish overall, but I am going to add a little bit of extra salt, which you won't see on camera, to this dish, because you'll be using plain rice, preferably prepared the day before or 2 days before. Once that plain rice gets incorporated into that meat, it's going to take away from the flavor. So it is okay to go a little heavier on the salt on this portion, you know, being that you're going to add that plain rice. So as you can see, me scraping the bottom of that pot, you know, after adding the chicken broth, that's a lot of flavor that's accumulated and crusted on the bottom of that pot. So you want to scrape that so it can break down and flavor the dish as well. So I just added a second round of chicken broth, in addition to a third round of chicken broth that you won't see here, and bay leaves, in order to bring it to a simmer, you know, and added more seasoning into it, you know. So it's like a slurry. You should be working with a slurry, like a gravy under there. Altogether, I used about 2/3 of that carton. Tomato paste, vinegar, Stubbs hickory liquid smoke, grandma's molasses, pure honey. The Charlie Andrews recipe didn't use mustard, but I'm using mustard. We have our sugar, and I also added some salt and pepper to make our barbecue sauce. So we've already dumped the tomato paste into the mixing bowl. So here we have a 1/2 cup of white vinegar and a 1/4 cup of liquid smoke mixed together. And here we are with our molasses. And you use as much as you want to, but I believe that was about a 1/4 cup of molasses. And I'm gonna throw in like another 1/3 cup of honey. Now I did have to go back and revise this because it didn't taste like how I wanted it to taste. So I wanted a little bit of sweetness to it. So I added sugar, I added honey, and I added a little more salt. And I also altered it again and hit it with some Louisiana hot sauce. But this is supposed to be for honey barbecue. So you don't have to add hot sauce or mustard to this if you don't want it. So, and I added the pre-cooked rice. You want to fold the rice, you don't want to stir it. If you stir the rice, it will break down and become gummy. You don't want gummy rice, so you fold it delicately. You incorporate, that's how you incorporate that. And there you have it, it's finished, smoothed out all over the top, looking nice for you. We are done with our dirty rice. So I started back mixing the barbecue sauce. Mine is a little more red than Mr. Andrews, but maybe I put a lot of tomato paste, but it came out awesome. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees. And the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take our 9x13 shallow baking pans, line them with butter, and cut up slices of butter in both 7-piece batches to go in between and on the sides of the pan. 120 minutes total cooking time. 40 minutes in, we open it up and we use the pan juices to baste the chicken legs, as you see right here. And then after that, we put our sauce into a saucepan and we simmered it, allowed it to come to a simmer for a couple minutes. And this is where I added my additional seasonings to make it come to my preferred taste. We removed those legs after the other 40 minutes. After basting with the pan juices, Let it go for another 40 minutes, and this is the end result. You pull those out and you remove those pan juices from the pan, and then you, as you see here, brush them with the barbecue sauce. Got the greens heating back up, simmering in the pot. They softened up. Put the oven on 450 broil, and you want to add those chicken legs back in for 5 minutes. So as you can see, it's a couple pieces missing. I should have took this shot first, but I made the plate first and then thought to take this shot. So you see some chicken and dirty rice is missing, and the only reason it's missing because I made the plate first. So there you have it: collard greens, barbecue chicken legs, and dirty rice. Chef FO, episode 3. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, get in the comments. Once again, thank you for watching. Salute.